And we have a show for you today. This is action-packed. Daniel and Lindsay are husband and wife, but they're going to be talking about two completely different issues. And then Kyle Drew is going to be here answering some Facebook questions. This is a action-packed day. I'm going to be teaching you about Aspergillus mold. Is this in the cereal your kids are eating? And finally, do I have a treat for you in the opening of today's show? What is oncology? Study of cancer. What is integrative oncology? It is Dr. Jonathan Stegall, who is with us today. This is a most amazing doctor. Imagine an oncologist who can say intravenous vitamin C and health and nutrition. I promise you lots of rewards for watching today's Know the Cause. My name is Doug Kaufman. For the past 40 years, I've dedicated my life and even my career to finding the root cause of disease. Join me in a team of physicians, pharmacists, and scientists, and soon you too will know the cause. You see peripherally there, Dr. Jonathan Stegall. He is with us today, all the way from the Georgia, great state of Georgia. Dr. Stegall is unlike any other doctor we've had on this show. He is an oncologist. He sees cancer patients, but he's an integrative oncologist. Welcome to the show. And
thank you.
Thanks so much for being here today, taking a day off to be with us and educate our audience. Look, this cancer thing is ugly. 1 in 2, 1 in 3 people. You watching right now, all of you have someone you love or know with cancer. This doctor offers different advice, albeit sometimes what's out there is not so bad. You handpick the best of several, so do tell what you do.
Absolutely. So the word integrative basically just means we're combining the best from modern or Western medicine with the best natural and alternative therapies. So we look at each patient as an individual, as a very unique case, because everyone is different. Yeah. And we really take the best of both of those worlds and combine them in a very personalized, tailored way for each patient.
And yet your peers, oncologists, and I know you attend both meetings, right? Mm-hmm. Integrative and regular oncology meetings. Your peers say a lot of this is nonsense. Diet means nothing. Right. Supplements are just nonsense. Where does that fit into your brain and your practice?
Well, it's amazing because we're all biased by how we were trained, obviously, and you know, the conventional world, you know, they're so focused on high-dose chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, and that's their world, and they don't get a lot of training in nutrition or a lot of the other therapies we use, and so they kind of have that bias going into it. Some are open; they're becoming a little more open, I think, but a lot of it is just they don't understand it. They don't have the training in it.
I got to tell you, many years ago, I came to Dallas. Gosh, it's been 30 years ago. I came to Dallas, and a doctor friend, a dermatologist, said, could we start doing IVs in our office? And of course, I knew a little bit about the Myers cocktail. Well, when you give 10 milligrams of vitamin C, you see something, and that's what it was back then 20, then 30. You get up to significant doses, and I'm telling you, I think you can really help people's immune system. So when they have a serious disease like cancer, IV nutrition, I think, is a good. Do you use that?
Oh, absolutely. It's a key aspect of my protocols. We usually do it 2 or 3 times a week for patients, give them very high dose vitamin C. And the advantage of that is we're bypassing the digestive system, so we can give much higher doses than you can possibly take by mouth.
So many people tell me that when they're getting their chemotherapy, there are Twinkies, there is soda pop, diet, of course, diet soda.
Right.
Because the oncologists, and I've spoken to oncologists, they really believe that this is a disease that has nothing to do with diet. We want the people to have some sugar in their body and so forth. So we give them these sugary treats while they're getting their chemotherapy. I think your diet, which diet do you like? What do you tell your cancer patients they need to eat?
I think our focus needs to be on as minimally processed food as possible. So we like to say shop around the periphery of the grocery store. So that's your fruits, your vegetables. You know, some meat is okay, some dairy is okay. The things in the middle aisles tend to be the things in the boxes and the bags with a lot of preservatives and a lot of harmful chemicals in them. So that's a good starting point for a lot of people. And then if we want to fine tune it a little bit more, honestly, getting rid of a lot of the carbohydrates I think is key, because we know that cancer feeds on sugar. I mean, that's the essence of a PET scan we use to image the body. It's radio-labeled sugar. And so the cancer cells are one to take up sugar, so you have to be very careful with it.
Teach people, there's a therapy you offer that I'm just enthralled with. It's called IPT, insulin potentiation therapy. Teach people about that because it really is eye-opening.
It is, and it's amazing. We know chemotherapy works to kill cancer cells. We've established that over many years. The problem is all the collateral damage. We can't just target.
Cells, right?
Right, absolutely. So we know that people get sick, their hair falls out, they just don't do well with it. It harms their immune system. And so the great thing about insulin potentiation therapy, or IPT, is we're able to give very small doses of chemotherapy, about 10 to 20% of that full dose. And the reason we're able to do that is because insulin safely lowers the patient's blood sugar in the office. We feel that those cancer cells are just very eager for whatever we give next. So that's when we give usually 2 or 3 chemotherapy agents at the same time.
Yeah.
And we feel like it's a little more targeted. I describe it as a heat-seeking missile versus an atom bomb. It's really precisely getting to those cancer cells, and we see good outcomes with it.
Did you see that, guys? Did you see we're all thumbprints? And when we get a disease, a program has to be developed, not around 10 of your peers, but around your thumbprint. Are you seeing new patients?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Let me give you this information. Well, you see it on the TV right now, right? DrStegal.com. This has been eye-opening for me. Do come back, and we'll do some more of these.
Love to.
Some more of these segments. Love what you're doing. Thank you on behalf of so many people sick with cancer.
Thank you for having me.
I want to take just a segment, 5 minutes, 6 minutes today, and educate you a little bit more on fungus. Folks, it's a very, very deep field. I see why they don't teach it in medical school, because I think for many it's more difficult than pharmacology itself, which is very, very difficult, chemistry course. Fungus, crazy, crazy field. I remember reading a research paper a short time ago that said 27 people who had been clinically diagnosed with lung cancer and radiologically. So they got the x-rays, right? Then the doctor felt around, looked, and did their biopsies and so forth. 27 people had lung cancer. As it turns out, they had a type of fungus in their lungs called Aspergillosis, or Aspergillus, that causes aspergillosis, a systemic infection of that fungus. And then they form in balls called aspergillomas, right? And so these were misdiagnosed. All 27 got better on antifungal drugs. And I have to ask, how rare is cancer misdiagnosis? Okay, let's study just Aspergillus today, very quickly. Aspergillus fungus, it has 2 characteristics. It eats dead or decaying vegetation, and it lives on board in our own tissues. It's a parasite, right? Causes diseases in many crops, especially corn, but other grains as well. It makes the poison and cancer-causing mycotoxin aflatoxin. It causes aspergillosis infections of the lung and sinuses. Aspergillomas are fungus balls that can invade the lungs and other human cavities. 3 species are commonly seen, but isn't that interesting? So an aspergilloma can form in the lung after you've breathed aspergillus or maybe eaten a lot of corn. You know where I'm going with this, right? There are 3 common species. One is called fumigatus, most common form of invasive aspergillosis. It can disseminate, it runs through the bloodstream, it makes aflatoxin and gliotoxin, which interrupts the function of our white blood cells. I wonder how many people have been diagnosed with white blood cell diseases, leukemia, etc., and end up wondering if they have a fungal infection or leukemia. A very dangerous fungus linked to many health problems. Typically lives in the soil and in moldy buildings where it becomes inhaled. Okay, that's just one. And that's just one fungus. And it makes several mycotoxins, several poisons. There are lots of fungi out there that are pathogens to man that cause disease in man. Then there's flavus, okay, Aspergillus flavus, found in stored grains. It can invade your arteries, eyes, sinuses, lungs, or brain, causes infarction, it's called tissue death, produces the genotoxic carcinogen called aflatoxin. It can cause hepatitis, liver cancer, and immune system suppression. Wait a minute. If a fungus causes liver cancer, is it really liver cancer or is it liver fungus? Should every liver cancer patient first go on antifungal drugs and our phase 1 diet to see if you can starve it and kill it? I think so, but folks, our oncologists today don't go that way. They don't know anything about this fungus, okay? The final one is Aspergillus niger. Aspergillus niger is used to make high fructose corn sweeteners. Beano and citric acid used in soda, right? That's so interesting. Associated with the tinnitus, hearing loss, hair loss, skin conditions, abdominal pain, vomiting, and acid reflux. This is a tough mold, tough fungus, okay? Aspergillosis. It causes an Aspergillus is the name of it. And finally, how are we exposed to this? Cereal and other grains, especially corn. High fructose corn sweeteners and soda pops that have HFCS in it. Soil. Have you been gardening? You've been out gardening and now you find yourself sick, you can't breathe, you got COPD or asthma? Could it have been in the soil? You picked up some Aspergillus. This is not rare. Accurately diagnosing it is extremely rare. I'm a FUPO head, fungus until proven otherwise. I wish every breathing problem would go to a doctor and say, give me some antifungals, I want to take a month, I'm going to change my diet, follow Kaufman's phase 1 diet, and see if I don't get fixed with your antifungal. Buildings that have leaked, and especially in the immunocompromised population. I don't believe that, but I always say that. I think if you're commonly exposed to fungus, I don't think you need to be immunocompromised because it's going to make you immunocompromised. If you suspect Aspergillus, find a doctor who will prescribe systemic antifungals. Go on our diet, our phase 1 diet. Use natural antifungals like caprylic acid, oregano, vitamin C, olive leaf, etc. Healing takes time. It can take many months to heal. It took you a long time to get sick. Sweat, sauna, chlorophyll. There are so many natural approaches, folks. We rush to a doctor, and I would too if I had breathing problems or I had a big thing in my lung, right? I'd get to a doctor too. But boy, they're going one direction. They're going to start you on medication or surgery. Ask the doctor if you have a couple of months to investigate whether or not a mold like Aspergillus might have contributed to this health problem, your breathing problem or your lung problems. So glad you joined us today. Tell your friends about Know the Cause. Help me disseminate this good news. I'll be right back with more. Did you ever do lunges when you were exercising? Daniel teaches us how to do them. Oh, to be in my 30s again and do those. Sore for 2 days. Then afterwards, swollen ankles, cold sores. Kyle Drew and I are going to answer some Facebook questions. Here we go.
Friends, family, I'm Daniel Crouch on Know the Cause for your lifestyle moment. We were talking a little earlier with some of my awesome, beloved, beautiful, wonderful staff about anxiety and weight gain. And I'm making the point, anxiety causes weight gain because when I'm stressed and I'm worried, I'm probably gonna go to the refrigerator and I'm gonna look for a temporary solace. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm worried, I'm concerned, God, I don't have enough money to pay my bills, or my child's in the hospital, or things aren't going well in my business, blah, blah, blah. And then you want something in the temporal realm to make you feel better. So I'm gonna eat something like some sugar that's gonna make me feel better for a few minutes, but it's actually like running a credit card. It might make you feel good for a second, but when the bill comes, you certainly don't feel better. And what do you have? More anxiety. So let's transmute our fear, our worry, our concern. Take it before God. God, please help me, bless me. But as we're in the midst of praying and meditating on this, let's also apply some benefit to ourselves. So if you're concerned, do some lunges. Man, I'm afraid, I'm worried, but guess what? I'm also kind of burning some calories, and I'm sending out endorphins to make me feel better. Endorphins are wonderful because as your muscles exercise, they're going to send you out a thank you. They're going to send you out a, hey man, I really appreciate you taking the time to focus on me and pump blood through me and send energy and oxygen to me. So as I'm praying and meditating, Lord, what do I do? Will you show me where I need to go? Will you help me? All the while, I'm helping myself create these endorphins, which are going to do what? They're going to mitigate your anxiety. I already feel better. I've oxidized my lungs. I've pumped oxygen into my bloodstreams, into my muscles, into my brains, and I already feel a modicum better than I did a few minutes ago when I was just sitting here stressing, taking that slow march to the refrigerator. Stop. Don't do that. It's never blessed you before. Rather, stay here, okay, and help yourself. Take that energy and apply it to a place where you can get stronger, because it hurts, the energy does. The pain, the worry, the anxiety, it can cause you so much. It releases cortisol in your system, which is not something that you need. So transmute and you'll be blessed. Make the right decision. You have 2 doors to go to. Which one are you going to go to now? Please come back and check us out again. We're going to give you more great tips. As always, I'm Daniel Crouch on Know the Cause Lifestyle Moment.
Hey, welcome back, friends. Thank you so much for being with us right now, Kyle Drew and I. during a live show I do every week. Join me live. Ask your questions. That's the way to ask Doug. Join me live. Tell your friends we're answering fungal questions on the internet. Facebook. And then go to Know the Cause, right? Do you know all the answers to these? Have we seen these yet?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
We'll find
let's
out
see.
if we do.
My ankle swelling has gone away with exercise and good diet choices. Donna, good one.
Donna.
Why? You've reduced inflammation.
Yeah,
right?
you got rid of that inflammation. The whole what makes bread rise thing. Same thing on the ankle, same way everywhere. Breast tissue, any place. Whenever there's that swelling, that inflammation, a lot of times it seems like, well, why was it swollen in the first place? But whenever you're throwing those habits in, my gosh.
Yeah. When
easy.
people have,
That's
I remember
awesome.
Mom, before she passed, God bless her, she had huge ankles, and the doctor said, you know, lie there and put your, above your heart. Lie on a sofa and put your legs up above your heart, and it seemed to take it down. And my brother and I always thought, well, that's interesting. If we stood her up and made her exercise, I wonder if it wouldn't go away easier. Most of the time, foods, you know, there are foods that contribute to edema, to swelling. And so you just need to know that. Ice cream, alcohol, grains sometimes. So be careful out there, folks. Donna, congratulations, it's gone away. What's this one, Kyle?
Are cold sores associated with fungal infections? Is there a way to stop them? We talked about this on Facebook Live the other night, some time ago actually, and it was really interesting because I like an amino acid called L-lysine. My dad once had shingles. Bless his heart, he just broke his hip, and then shingles were added on top of it. I gave him a capsule form of L-lysine, simple amino acid, and some people, though, will get cold sores and they'll find a lysine salve that they rub on. And so everybody has associated lysine with being antiviral. But as it turns out, each of these individual amino acids that you can get from protein, each individual one is actually antifungal. So that's an interesting component. So do you say, so you're asking, is it associated with a fungal infection? I'll tell you this, the thing that seems to take care of it is associated with being antifungal. So that's the 2 and 2.
I've got to tell you, over and over again, I recommended antifungals for what we would consider doctors, not us, but real doctors, not on TV, with a virus. I don't know what viri are, and I'm no brain, doctors or that, but when people with, you know, shingles or herpes 1 or herpes 2 get better with antifungals and a changed diet, there's no diet that helps with shingles or herpes. It kind of makes you think. And I'll never forget, by the way, when Dr. A.V. Costantini told all of us, decades ago out in Canada, that all single amino acids have antifungal properties. And sure enough, I looked it up. It seems that lysine, along with diflucan, enhances the value of diflucan.
Just magnifies it.
Isn't that interesting?
That's
okay.
cool.
Is diflucan just a bloodstream antifungal? Does it also kill bacteria?
No, I think it's an antifungal and that's it. When you look at the package insert, which is that thing that you never ever read.
Nobody can read it. Because
it's 20,000 pages long, reduced down to a font that can fit onto a single page.
What's a -0.2 font?
Yeah,
you know.
It's so bad. So get out the microscope, read it. This is what's so interesting. This is why for a long, long time, Doug has found these studies about somebody took diflucan, somebody took Sporanox or whatever prescription antifungal that all it does is kill fungus. But they took it when they had cancer. And it was to help deal with a toenail infection or something like that. But in the process, it just, the metastasis seems to stop, everything else, only by killing fungus.
New word in pharmaceutical medicine, it's called repurposing. They're now talking about repurposing Sporanox, the toenail antifungal pill, repurposing it to treat what? Cancer. Isn't that amazing? So cancer, antifungal, you see where we're going, right? Thanks for joining us. You know, Nurse Jenny Hrabachik always talks about cancer. Can you imagine standing in a shower and worrying about the spray on you? She'll talk about that, and then into the kitchen we go for yellow squash with Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Jenny Hrabachik with the Cancer Connection. When you take a shower in the morning, do you enjoy that hot, steamy water? You might want to rethink that. if you don't have a good filtration system on your bath and shower water. You see, our skin is our largest organ and it's very absorbent. Studies have found that you can absorb as much chlorine in one shower as you can by drinking 8 glasses of municipal tap water. The municipal systems can filter out about half of the prescription drugs and other contaminants, many of which can contribute to cancer. So the longer you shower, the greater your risk and your exposure. So the tip of the day is to take a short shower. And if you're not washing your hair, you can probably get the job done in about a minute. And if you're washing your hair, turn off the water in between when you lather up and when you rinse. For Know the Cause, I'm Jenny Herbacek.
If you're anything like me, you're happy there's a grain-free spaghetti available for all those days when we might have a pasta craving. I love spaghetti squash and will make it so many different types of ways when I have just one on hand. I'll do the classic spaghetti and tomato sauce, but add some crushed red pepper and maybe even some wilted greens. I'll make a casserole and use the spaghetti squash strings as the noodles for my layers. And I'll even make a grain-free hot breakfast like an alternative to oatmeal by adding some sliced figs, pecans, and a drizzle of organic maple syrup or honey. Sounds crazy, but all the slightly sweet, nutty flavor is delicious in so many different ways. The only thing I don't like about a spaghetti squash is how hard it is to cut into. I feel like I'm gonna slice off a finger every time I try to get through one of those bad boys raw. But there's a solution. You can actually roast the entire thing whole in the oven, then just slice it when it's soft and keep all of your fingers intact. Just pierce the outside with a knife a few times going around the vegetable, then put it on a pan and roast it in your oven at 375 degrees for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes until you can easily pierce it with a fork, then you know it's done. Then just slice it down the middle, remove the seeds, pull the strings out with a fork, and you've got it. Phew, I feel much better about buying one of those at the grocery store now.
If I had cancer, Dr. Stegall would be a doctor I would see. There's a world of difference between oncology and integrative oncology. He is an integrative oncologist, so pick up the phone, give him a buzz. Folks, he is accepting patients and would love to see you. Thank you, all of the correspondents, all you guys, Kyle and everybody else with Know the Cause. God bless you guys. Have a safe day, and thank you for watching. See you next time.